Welcome to Pro Longevity. Diabetes is a killer. It's costing millions. 1 minute you may well be fine, and then the next minute you find you're one of 12 million diabetics. That is like having a car crash. Today we're going to find out the science behind that and why you may, unnoticed, be at high risk of developing the disease. Welcome back.
Hi, good to see you.
Another episode of Pro Longevity.
Yep.
And, you know, conversations we had before revealed that there's a lot of people out there that suddenly had this diagnosis flash up in their life, and there were no signs to them. They just really didn't think they were at risk.
Yeah.
What's going on? What happens in the chemistry of a human being so that there's no, if you like, easy spotting of the symptoms?
The symptoms of type 2 diabetes develop overnight, over 24, 48 hours. All of a sudden you have an extreme thirst, an extreme need to urinate, and you literally cannot deal with it. And those are kind of unmistakable symptoms, and it's off to the GP. The point is this, that hasn't happened overnight. That's probably building up over maybe 10 or 20 years. And if you'd known what to look for and made subtle changes, you would never have reached that point. So I guess what we really need to discuss is what's gone on over those 20 years and what could you have noticed and what could we do to turn off the tap of diabetes.
Okay, isn't some of this that people know about this? I mean, you can't avoid it. There's a huge amount of publicity around people and their risks of diabetes these days. But people just get a sense that they're fine. They go to the gym, they eat reasonably well, they think they're having a varied diet, don't put sugar in their tea. What is the things that could make a difference where they start to be more concerned?
Look, we're all human beings and we all lead our lives in denial to some extent until the inevitable hits us. What I find is a lot of people think they're eating healthily, and then you challenge where those beliefs come from. And you realise those beliefs have been instilled in them by the food industry. And, you know, for example, we all believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's most important for Kellogg's share price, but actually there's no evidence to suggest that breakfast is an important meal. We've been convinced that we need to eat 3 or 4 balanced meals a day and that we need to snack in between. Because if you haven't stuffed, you know, a Mars bar in your mouth or something from Starbucks in the last half an hour, you're going to die. Think about it like this. As a species, we're somewhere between 1 million and 2 million years old. What do you reckon the likelihood is that our kind of hunter-gatherer forebears were going to McDonald's or eating 3 or 4 meals a day? Just never happened. We're actually designed to eat real food. We're designed to have gaps between meals. We're designed to put on weight in times of plenty. And we're designed to fast in times of lean. So we are designed for feast and famine. The trouble is we only ever have feast these days. And that's the clue to the diabetes epidemic. Okay.
What drives hunger? Because, you know, I might have a decent meal at lunchtime and then middle of the afternoon I'm hungry. Is there some sort of link between the way sugar is metabolized?
So we have we're complex organisms and we have many different control systems. And I don't want to go too much into the science, but there are 3 key hormones that I will talk about. Insulin, which is the storage hormone, ghrelin, which is the hungry hormone, and leptin, which is the satiety hormone. Just think about it like this. That's our control system. If that gets out of whack, you'll be permanently hungry. And that's how most of us are.
That's me.
Myself included for most of my life. Right? Back in the day, I was the fat kid in class.
Right.
I was starving for breakfast. And as I was finishing my breakfast, I'd be thinking what to have for lunch. And I'd be hungry before lunch. I'd have a big lunch. And I've struggled with it my whole life. And it's only as I realised the science behind this, which is to get these hormones back into their box. Just think about it another way. Go out into nature. The animals aren't fat. None of them are on a diet to get into their bikini. And if you follow the hunter-gatherer tribes who still lead sort of traditional lifestyle, no one's on a diet, and none of them are fat. It's because they're naturally balancing their hormones. So the key is to work with your body's natural system, understand how that works, and then you don't need to be hungry all the time. So for example, weekdays, I generally only eat one meal during the day. Now, that may sound unbelievable. You know, am I going to die of starvation? Of course not. What I've got my body adapted to do is to store the energy when I have my meal and burn it over the next 24 hours. So I'm not hungry anymore in the way that I used to be. So then your next question is going to be, okay, so what changes do I need to make to my diet and lifestyle to get rid of this permanent hunger?
It's not actually going to be that. It's that I think we all hit January and we all want to make some significant changes. I certainly have gone up a trouser size over December. But it's adherence. It's this magical word. You hear it from doctors treating young teenagers who become diabetic. They won't even adhere to the regime of the tablets or the, you know, we're bombarded by stimulus. What's the secret of what you're doing to get adherence so people start to make a meaningful change and stop the car crash?
So I never talk about calories and I never talk about a diet. I'm focusing on lifestyle.
Right.
If you get your lifestyle right, your body will do the rest for you. You won't be hungry, you won't be tired, you'll sleep well, you'll feel generally healthy. So the whole issue of trying to adhere to a diet, and I hear the word diet, and immediately I think I'm hungry and I'm miserable just from the word. So I avoid all of that. Once you understand how your body, and it's very individual, how your body reacts to your lifestyle, in particular the foods that you eat, and which of those foods spike your sugar and as a result spike your insulin, once you've got that piece of science understood, and it's not that difficult to do, then you can make adjustments and the whole problem goes away.
Okay, so what does the Pro Longevity service embrace? What sort of things can you offer so that people get that real-time dashboard?
Sure. So the starting point is to understand you as an individual. And that's the difference between the NHS approach, which looks at sort of a mass population basis. We might look at any tests the GPs have done. We look at your own personal objectives. So do you want to use waste? Do you want to lose weight? We've had women who want to lose their baby weight. Are you worried about your blood pressure? So the next thing is it's very personalised. Okay, what are your objectives? And then what we do is we bring together that background information and we provide you with a continual blood glucose monitor. At that point, we can see how your normal lifestyle affects your blood sugar. And quite rapidly in the first 2 weeks, we can see where the low-hanging fruit is. What is it that's really affecting you? I'll give you an example. Almost all my clients eat a healthy breakfast of porridge. Almost all of them get a huge sugar spike. And as a result, they're going up and down like this with their sugar, up and down like this with their insulin. So 2 hours later, they're starving hungry, and they're what we call hangry. Hungry and angry and not feeling very good because their blood sugar's gone up like this and it's come down like a stone.
So what's a decent breakfast then?
Absolutely nothing. Awful lot of my clients actually say they eat breakfast because they've been told it's important. Not so. If you're not hungry, skip, right? That's what I do because I've never been hungry for breakfast, but I spent years having toast or cereal because I believed it was important. If you think about it, that kind of meal is adding almost no nutritional value. It's giving you a ton of calories that you don't really need and will make you fat. And 2 hours later, you're starving. So one thing to do is have nothing. That doesn't work for everyone, right? That's an individual choice. My prime starting point for breakfast is usually something based around eggs, right? So on the days when I don't skip breakfast, I'll usually have something egg-based. It's very nutritionally complete. It'll keep you full for a long time. So if I have an egg-based breakfast, an omelette, and you can have lots of different omelettes, for example, I'm usually not hungry at lunchtime. I can last till the evening. So it's about finding what works for you, that's nutritionally balanced, that won't make you hungry, and that will naturally rebalance your body's systems and all the hormones. So then you can skip through the day feeling energized, feeling healthy, and not feeling hungry.
So let's say you've got the perfect user of the Pro Longevity service. Can you guarantee that you can either reverse or keep them away from becoming diabetic, this car crash we talked about
Sure.
at the beginning?
Well, I'm a scientist and a health professional, and I suppose guarantee is a very strong word to use, so I would probably not use that word. But what I can say is we haven't had any failures yet.
Right.
If you understand the human physiology of it, it's really very simple. Once you avoid the foods that spike your sugar and as a result spike your insulin, the problem really does kind of melt away. And we see it that, you know, if you go back a generation or two, we didn't have this problem. So it clearly has to be lifestyle, not genetic. If you look at countries who have a different type of lifestyle from us, it's not a problem for them. So pretty much you just go back to relying on human physiology, do what we've been designed to do by 2 million years of evolution, and let the biology look after itself.
Brilliant. Graham, thanks very much for that.
Pleasure.
If you've really benefited from listening to what Graham had to say, make sure you subscribe to more videos. You can do an interactive questionnaire alongside this video and see whether or not you're going to be at risk. And of course, you can talk to Graham free of charge. He'll give you a free consultation and get you on a road so you never have a car crash. That's all from us at Pro Longevity, and myself and Graham.
Pleasure. Good to see you again.
Bye for now.